So question 1, sketch the graphs of the following for 0 less or equal to x less or equal to 360. So we are given that 0 is less or equal to x, which is less or equal to 360 degrees. This means that we're going to sketch in degrees and not in radians. 1, the function y is equal to negative cos x. The critical thing here is we must be able to state, for it to be able to sketch, you state the period. And for the period of sine cos, the standard equation is supposed to be a cos bx plus c plus d. And then we say the amplitude is always the modulus of a. The period is 2 pi divided by b. The horizontal phase shift is obtained by equating bx plus c to 0 and so for x, which is negative c over b. The vertical shift is d. So to have an easy sketch, after you get your period, you also obtain its scale, where you divide the whole period by 4. And then now you're able to sketch using that. So come now to our question and see that the period here, okay, let's start with the amplitude. The amplitude here is the modulus of negative 1, which is equal to 1. The period here is 2 pi over 1, which is our b, so we get 2 pi. The scale is the period divided by 4, which is 2 pi over 4, which is pi over 2. The horizontal shift is 0, and the vertical shift is also 0. So now we can have the sketch of this. So to sketch, remember we are told we should sketch from 0 up to 360. So this is 0. Since our scale is pi over 2, from 0 you add pi over 2. And to move from pi over 2, you add another pi over 2. So we are adding now pi over 2 plus pi over 2, so that we get pi. Again, to pi, we add pi over 2, so we get 3 pi over 2. Again, we add to 3 pi over 2. So I don't know at which point I switched to pi's. So I like pi's than degrees. So we need to go back to degrees from our properties here, since we are told we must deal with the degrees. So the period is 360 over b, which is 360 over 1. So we get 360. And the scale will divide 360 by 4. So we get 90. So when we start from 0, we go to 90. 90 plus 90, 180 plus 90, 270 plus 90, 360. So you must sketch only up to 360. After having these numbers now, we go back to our function and solve what is negative cos 0. Remember, cos 0 is 1, so we'll get negative 1. So we'll have negative 1 at this point. Again, what is y when x is 90? Remember, cos 90 is 0, so we have negative 0, which is just 0. So we have a point there. You also go to y is equal to negative cos 180. Cos 180 is negative 1. So we have negative 1. Altogether, we get positive 1. So we'll go to positive 1. And then go to 270, negative cos 270. Now cos 270 is 0, so we get negative 0, which is 0. And then we do y is equal to negative cos 360. Cos 360 is positive 1, so together we get negative 1. So we have a point negative 1. So now we can sketch our graph. It goes this way, touches there, comes down all the way up to 360. This is the graph of cos. So now we have y is equal to negative cos x. Okay. So after you have this sketch, you move now to the next question, since this one is complete, unless there are questions. So 2 is similar to 1, so sketch 3. So 3 is y is equal to 1 plus cos. So since we sketched for cos in 1, 3 and 4 are similar, so we'll sketch for 4, which has sine. Y is equal to 2 sine x plus 60 degrees. So again, you start with a period. The period here is 360 over 2, 360 over b, and b is 1, so get 360. The amplitude, the modulus of 2, which is just positive 2. The horizontal shift, which is x plus 60 is equal to 0, gives us x is equal to negative 60 degrees. And then the vertical shift is 0. So from there, we'll have the scale. So the scale is period divided by 4. That is 360 over 4, which is equal to 90 again. So you can sketch a graph. The most important thing, when you have horizontal shift non-zero, you start from the horizontal shift. So we are told is negative 60. So from negative 60, you add 90. So negative 60 plus 90 will get 30. So you go to 30. To 30, you add 90. So 90 plus 30, that is 120. 120 plus 90, you get to 210. And 210 plus 90, you get 300. 300 plus 90, we get 390. But remember, we are told that our sketch must end at 360. So provide a space for 360 because we won't get to 390. We are also supposed to start from 0, so provide a space for 0. And then we go to the function and substitute and substitute that so that we get y is equal to 2 sine 0 plus 60. That is 2 sine 60. Sine 60 is root 3 over 2. So we get root 3. So we'll have 0 comma root 3. And then go to 30. So 2 sine 30 plus 60. That is 2 sine 90. But sine 90 is 1. So we get 2. So here we'll have 2 at 30. And get back to 120. So 120 plus 30 and plus 60. That will be 2 sine 180, which is 2 multiplied by 0, which is 0. So come down there. Also go to 2 sine 210 plus 60. This is 2 sine 270. But sine 270 is -1. So get -2. So go all the way up to -2. And then substitute again. 2 sine 300 plus 60. That is 2 sine 360 by sine 360 is 0. So we get 2 by 0, which is 0. So we go back there. And then at 360, 2 sine 360 plus 60. This, when you add 360 plus 60, you get a coterminal angle to 60. And since it's beyond 360, we just use the same 60. And then we get 2 root 3 over 2, which is root 3. Plus 60, you got root 3. So we're not supposed to go beyond 360. So then, remember we found root 3 there. So now we can sketch. It will be a graph of this nature. Going there, and it will end there. It would have gone all the way up 390, which was going to be at 2, if we were allowed to use such numbers, but we're not allowed to use such numbers. The question says sketch only between 0 and 360. Okay, this means that since we did some more sketches in other questions, so you guys will be able to follow up those sketches, plus these that we have added. Find the amplitude, the period, phase shift of each of the above. I think we found before we sketched, we are finding each phase shift, amplitude, the period, and the horizontal shift. So that we can now go straight to question 2. We go to question 2. Solve the equations. For A, we have 5, 3x plus 2 is equal to 43. So these are exponentials. Now we have exponentials whose inverses are logarithms. So if I find a power, if I find that the variable I'm solving is in the power, the only solution I have is to drop that variable from the power to the base and then work it out. And how do you drop? When you bring in ln and apply to the number on the left, you do the same to the number on the right. What will happen is that the power now will drop. You have this, leaving you with ln 5 is equal to ln 43. Immediately you can decide to divide, or first you can expand. You have 3 ln 5 or acting as the coefficient of x plus 2 ln 5 is equal to ln 43. Take this to the other side because it's a constant. So we have 3 ln 5, the coefficient of x is equal to ln 43 minus 2 ln 5. You can divide 3 ln 5, divide 3 ln 5, and have our solution as x is equal to ln 43 minus 2 ln 5 over 3 ln 5. Now this question, this solution here can be simplified based on the properties of logarithms. The properties of logarithms. So I run you through some of the important properties. That one, if you have a ln b, this is the same as ln b to the power a, telling us also that if we had ln x power y, this would be the same as y ln x. So if you find it as a coefficient, you can take it as a power. If you find it as a power, you can drop it down if you want. We also have ln a multiplied by b being given as ln a plus ln b. So that if you find it as a sum, who else can get me? Oh, this guy I think is not, he don't have the audio. The others, are you able to get me? Bupe.
Yes, I am able to get you.
Okay. So this guy doesn't have the audio. Okay, so we also have ln A plus ln B if it came as a product, but if it came as a sum, then we can say this is ln x multiplied by y. We only do this if the bases are the same. That is, if I have log A f plus log A g, that's when I'm allowed to say log A f multiplied by g. But if it was log A f plus log b g, I do not put them together. I'll just leave them like this. This can only be equal to itself and not to be simplified in any way, unless we do change of base. Change of base, if you are moving from base A to base B, you say log B x over log B A. Very, very important change of base property. And if you have log A x minus log A y, this is the same as log A x over y. So that if you found log A x over y, you can also rearrange it and make it log A x minus log A y, like that. So now I come back to our question. Our question has ln 43, we'll leave it as it is, minus, so we'll take the 2 back to 5, divide by, we'll take the 3 also back to 5 as a power. This will be ln 43 minus ln 25, everything divided by ln 125. Then we can put those together. So say this is ln 43 divided by 25. like that. So then 43 divided by 25, and then everything by the 125. So this is how far it can go. This is our x. So we go to b. B is 3x plus 2 is equal to 7x minus 3. So again, we're looking for the values of x. So the best is to bring in ln. So when you're using ln, it says ln is log base e. So we write the shortcut of it as ln. When I'm dropping these, I can use any power. I can use any base, it does not matter. If you want, you can drop it using base 4, because on the properties here, we can also add the property that log a is equal to 1. So that if I want to use a base 4, then that part here will just disappear, because the one that remains as log 4 will give me 1. But I can still use ln 4 to the power 3x plus 2 is equal to ln 7x minus 3. This is helping us to get down the power 3x plus 2, and then we remain with ln 4. We also get down the power x minus 3 and remain with ln 7. From there, we can do the expansion. So we have 3 ln 4, the coefficient of x, plus 2 ln 4 is equal to x ln 7 minus 3 ln 7. So we want the x's to be together. So we have 3 ln 4 x minus x ln 7 is equal to negative 3 ln 7 minus 2 ln 4. We factor out x, so we get 3 ln 4 minus ln 7 is equal to negative 3 ln 7 minus 2 ln 4. Divide by 3 ln 4 minus ln 7. Divide by 3 ln 4 minus ln 7. X is going to be negative 3 ln 7 minus 2 ln 4 over 3 ln 4 minus ln 7. So this is a value of x, which again, if you want, you can take back the negative 3 there and take back the negative 2 there and divide by ln 4 3 plus ln 7 power negative 1. So I'm doing that because I want to have them as products. That is ln 1 over 7 power 3 multiplied by 1 over 4 squared. Everything divided by ln 4 power 3 multiplied by 1 over 7. So you can simplify this and leave it as a solution like that. This does not mean that you cannot leave it here. You can leave it there. But if they guide us that we must leave it in this form, that's when we go that far. We go to C, 25 power x is equal to 5 x plus 1 minus 6. So again, we want to solve this. So this time around, if you look at what we have here, it looks like something that can form an equation. We can't easily drop the ln because remember, we don't have a property we are on number 2, question C, number 2, part C. Remember that we don't have a property that says if you find them in this way, you can separate them. We don't have this. So since we don't have this, we can't easily apply ln on both sides because we fail to come out. So what we do is we write 25 as 5 squared, and then it has the power x. We write 5x plus 1 as 5 to the power x multiplied by 5 to the power 1 minus 6. Now 5, if I have a to the power m, power n, I can write it as a mn, which I can write as a n m. These are properties of indices. So what we're going to do is we're going to write 5 to x and then bring the 5 and the 5x to the left, also 6, and have 0 there, and then switch the 2, take it outside, so that we have minus that 5x plus 6 is equal to 0. Then what next? So the next thing is we'll say, okay, if we let p to be 5 per x, then p squared is going to be 5 per x squared. And we have it here. So where there's 5x squared, we have p squared minus 5p plus 6 is equal to 0. So the product is 6, and the factors, since the sum is -5, the factors will be -3 and -2. So we have p squared minus 2p minus 3p plus 6 is equal to 0, implying that p minus 2 minus 3p minus 2 is equal to 0. So p is equal to 2. Also p is equal to 3. Then we go back to what p is. P is 5 per x, which is equal to 2. We're looking for x. So if we apply ln both sides, x will go down and remain with ln 5 is equal to ln 2. Divide by ln 5, divide by ln 5. So x is equal to ln 2 over ln 5. We go to p is equal to 3. Again, we'll have 5 to the power x is equal to 3. Apply ln. So x will go down, remain with ln 5 is equal to ln 3. Divide by ln 5, divide by ln 5. So we'll have x is equal to ln 3 over ln 5. So these are the two values of x that we obtain. So we are able to move from an exponential to a quadratic and go back to exponential and find the values of x in logarithmic forms. So we still have so many questions. And because of the Zoom setup of 40 minutes, we have less than 6 minutes remaining. This means that if we start a question, we may not finish it. So to avoid losing the information, we need to save. So cut. And then, so at 11:45, let's join back. So let's join back at 11:45. This is 11:37 here. At 45 exactly, we join back. We'll continue.